Slaves here with the Senior Pickleball Report from the court that I built in my parents' basement, powered by TNC Network. Let's get it going. As we look at these different paddles from different companies at different price points, paddle companies that have been in pickleball a long time, relatively speaking, and those who are new to the market, if we look closely, they all have the USA Pickleball approved logo or stamp of approval on their paddle. That's interesting. And it's interesting because the question has arisen over the last calendar year and into the new year about whether or not these paddles and other paddles from other companies are the same paddles with the same quality and build control, with the same grit, with the same spin, with the same touch and feel, are the same paddles that we, the amateurs, are using as the pros are getting to use. That is what we're going to address today. Remember, folks, if you like this content, consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Check out our socials as well. And hey, if you need a paddle, go to Just Paddles. Link in the description. Also, if you want to help us out, you can go to our merch link, which is also in the description, and get a t-shirt. All right, on to the content. Well, we're starting off 2023 with a little bit of controversy. In 2022, we had PaddleGATE, the US Open sort of debacle, which I covered in a video, which you can get the link to in the description. And it was between USA Pickleball and CRBN Paddles Carbon, and they were banned mid-tournament for having being outside the legalities of spin. That's the spin they could create. And then during the tournament, an official was testing a Yola paddle, not necessarily this model, on camera. And he mentioned that this paddle was probably going to fail, and it did fail in his test on the camera as well. And then, it went from there, like, who's making these decisions? Because the Yola paddles were not banned or recalled, and Carbon had to jump through all these hoops to get their paddles reapproved, and so on and so forth. And then later in the year, when Annalie Waters lost her only singles match of the year to Paris Todd, Paris was using a Yola paddle. And at the end of the match, Annalie wanted the paddle checked. It was checked, and it was told it had passed it. We never get to see the results. It was just, there's not really any transparency going there. So the question is, really, what does this mean? This little stamp of approval. And again, paddles from all different price ranges and whether they've been around for a long time. This is the paddle I use. Different models, whether they're cheap, expensive, or a paddle that's been around and the standard for a very long time, they all want that seal of approval. And at the end of the day, it doesn't seem to mean a lot because No Man's Land, a blog that I follow, brought up an issue that was on one of the pickleball forums on Facebook about somebody who had come into contact and had one of Catherine Parento's paddles, and she's with PaddleTek. And it was, I believe they said, a carbon face and had a lot of grit on it. In other words, something very unlike a PaddleTek paddle that is on the marketplace. And the idea is, with the rules, that we're all supposed to play with the same equipment. The pros play with the same equipment we play with. But the rumor mills have been going around that the pros get the grittier paddles if there's a batch that are grittier. And, we don't know. But this is all suspect. And it's suspect because of the actions of USA Pickleball over the years. And so they seem to cherry pick who they ban and who they don't, and which players maybe can get away with certain things and which companies might be able to get away with certain things. Again, a lot of this is speculation. I would consider going, if I were you, to read the blog on No Man's Land. They do an excellent job of analysis on pro pickleball. And this is one of the things they brought up because it comes up every so often. And as pickleball grows, the more money becomes prevalent, sponsorships, celebrities, status, recognition, people are going to sort of push those barriers. And it seems at this point, we really don't have a strong organization to really enforce the rules. which going down the line is not going to be good for the sport if it wants to become something that is looked upon as legitimate and maybe potentially an Olympic sport. So check it out. I do not buy paddles anymore unless I watch PB&J Pickleball, a YouTube channel where he tests all the paddles with the same equipment that USA Pickleball does. And again, unofficial because, as he says, he's a guy on the internet doing it. But, this isn't rocket science. And a lot of these paddles that he tests don't fit the parameters that USA Pickleball has set. So I would check out that channel. Again, I did a video on that as well. There's a link in the description. And, look at those and make your, choices based on that, because that's all we really have to go upon at this point. Apparently, the seal of approval doesn't always mean something. So another big name that was kind of associated with the story is Andrea Koop. And she plays with PaddleTek as well. Rick Witsken, who I interviewed, I apparently jumped in on the post and said that he was not aware of any such paddles being out there. Annalie Waters plays with PaddleTek. So this could be PaddleGATE to Electric Boogaloo. And PaddleTek's a company that's been around a long time and has been pretty reputable. So we'll see what happens with this, if anything. Again, this is about USA Pickleball doing their job. And the question is, are they doing their job? All right. In the meantime, let's pickle.